Hey everybody, this is kind of awkward. It's Trey. I haven't been on this channel in some years now, and I didn't plan on making this video, but given the fact of this news bulletin that was put out by the Department of Labor, I feel it was not only imperative to put that word out there, but also to voice my opinion about this as someone who used to go to Job Corps, albeit over 10 years ago at this point. I have a lot of emotions about this. So let's break it down bit by bit, talk about the news article, what the facts of the matter is, and what this could mean potentially in the future, right? So, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, the U.S. Department of Labor are pausing Job Corps Center operations. And this coming straight from Washington. The U.S. Department of Labor today announced it will begin a phased pause in operations at contractor-operated Job Corps centers nationwide, initiating an orderly transition for students, staff, and local communities. The decision follows an internal review of the program's outcome and structure and will be carried out in accordance with available funding. The statutory framework established under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act and congressional notification requirements. The article continues saying the pause of operations at all contractor-operated Job Corps centers will occur by June 30th of 2025. As the transition begins, the department is collaborating with state and local workforce partners to assist current students in advancing their training and connecting them with education and employment opportunities. The department's decision aligns with the President's fiscal year 2026 budget proposal and reflects the administration's commitment to ensure federal workforce investments deliver meaningful results for both students and taxpayers. And we have a quote here from Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer. I might be mispronouncing that last name, or part of their last name, saying Job Corps was created to help young adults build a pathway to build a better life through education, training, and community. However, a startling number of serious incident reports and our in-depth fiscal analysis revealed the program is no longer achieving the intended outcomes that students deserve. We remain committed to ensuring all participants are supported through this transition and connected with the resources they need to succeed as we evaluate the program's possibilities. The Job Corps program has faced significant financial challenges under its current operating structure. In 2024, the program operated at a $140 million deficit, requiring the Biden administration to implement a pause in center operations to complete the program year. The deficit is projected to reach $213 million in 2025. Okay, just taking a pause right here, just to acknowledge the fact that this pause that they're talking about is nothing new, that this is something that Job Corps has done in the past. When Job Corps was put on pause by the government, operations was, as it said, put on standby. When I was in Job Corps, I remember that there were talks about the program being paused, and although they were very, very, very close to pausing the program, they were able to work out a deal and get the funding there for the Department of Labor to continue the program while I was in Job Corps. But as you can see here, that wasn't so much the case. Under the last administration, under POTUS 46, this happened because it was losing a lot of money. It was a lot of money being put into the program, and at a point it was operating under a deficit. And so, as I've read already in the article, the current administration under POTUS 47 is planning on pausing the program once again, although this is being reported as if it was matter of factly and permanent, which I'll get into in just a minute. Finishing up the article, in April 25th, 2025, the Department's Employment and Training Administration released the first ever Job Corps Transparency Report, which analyzed the financial performance and operational cost of the most recently available metrics of program year 2023. The summary of the overall findings found that an average graduation rate of 38.6, and this is on average, although this could not be the case for every center, mind you. This is what they found according to their reports on average as a whole for all the Job Corps centers, right? So they're saying it had an average graduation rate of 38.6%. Very piss poor numbers. The average cost per student per year was about $80,284.65. The average total cost per graduate was $155,000. The post-separation participants earn about $16,695 annually on average. And to really put an exclamation point at the end of their findings here, they wrote the total number of serious incident reports for program year 2023 was about 14,913 infractions. And of that number, that involved 372 reported cases of inappropriate sexual behavior and sexual assaults reported, 1,764 reports of acts of violence, 1,167 breaches of safety or security, 2,702 reported drug uses, and 1,808 total hospital visits. And as you can see here, this was published as of this recording yesterday, May 29th, 2025. Now, of course, I want to break down these numbers a little bit, because although I can't personally vouch the validity of these numbers, considering, again, I've been out of the program, I've been out of this game for over a decade at this point, I will say I am very, very, very cynical about one aspect here, where, notice, they made sure to group this together. Inappropriate sexual behavior and sexual assaults reported, a combined 372. Now, why would they do that? My running theory is that they combined those numbers together because of the fact that it would make it look even worse than if they were separate. Because let's make it clear, there's a clear difference between an inappropriate sexual behavior case and a sexual assault case. A sexual assault case is pretty, I mean, we don't need to really talk about what a sexual assault is, right? We're all grown. We all are aware of what the hell a sexual assault is. But an inappropriate sexual behavior case is a completely different situation. So, an inappropriate sexual behavior case could vary from anywhere from two students getting caught having sex on or off campus, or in some cases, if it doesn't even get reported, a student having interracial, I'm sorry. Oh, that's the wrong word to say. I meant to say inappropriate relations with a facilities member, whether that be an educator or instructor or somebody who works on campus. Those would be considered inappropriate sexual behaviors. And given that it's a proto-campus-like environment, these kind of things aren't impossible to happen. There's been multiple cases out there about students having sex on campus. Hell, I even talked about a situation years ago about when I saw two students going at it on the campus ground itself. No decency to try to hide that shit indoors. They did that shit outside. So when they incorporate that behavior and group it together like this with sexual assault, it makes it clear that these numbers are being presented not just in a matter-of-factly way, but in a way to drive a narrative here that Job Corps have derived from its main goal, and that the best thing it can do is shut down the program in order to better facilitate students through other means by having them complete a trade course through a community college of sorts, which I want to bring up because of the fact that a lot of people went to the Job Corps route because they didn't have the funds to just attend community college, that they couldn't just attend a tech school. So they ended up just either slumming it out on the streets, or they were working job to job to job and dead-end jobs with no end in sight. Like, they feel like they're kind of stuck in that predicament in their lives. So in their point of view, in the administration's point of view, they're seeing themselves as helping out and cutting the fat, per se, by shutting down or pausing Job Corps, excuse me. And the reason I say shutting down so often is because when I went to look up this story, and let me pause this right quick. As you can see here, just looking up the recent news stories of Job Corps, you get a variety of different stories from different perspectives. Like, you have some people reporting how the Albany Youth Center is to close after following the Department of Labor announcement. Fox News talking about how the centers put students in danger and it cost the taxpayers $1.7 billion. Other centers talking about how they're going to pause and shut down their centers for a while because of the fact that they will be indefinitely paused, because the article didn't list an end time of when this is going to be over with. All we have to go off of is that it was just after an in-depth review of the program's outcomes and financial structure, the Department of Labor has begun pausing operations at Job Corps centers nationwide. And this nationwide pause of the program is supposed to be completed by the end of June. It's really hard for me to try to be unbiased here, or is making it very, very clear that this government is very in tune to the freaking demands and desires of POTUS 47. Note, I'm not saying the man's name, and I'm very deliberate in my words here, because POTUS 47 has made it very clear that he wants to try to save Americans money by shutting down programs that have been helping Americans. It's not just Job Corps, food stamps, Social Security, Medicaid, all of these programs have been cut. Project 2025 has been in full effect for a while now, and Job Corps is just the latest victim of this administration's plan to gut from the lower to middle class America and help out their buddies on the higher end of the spectrum of the financial bourgeoisie. So, yeah, I am livid about this news. And again, I historically try to keep politics out of this channel, but it's really hard to ignore the elephant in the room here. This is done by an administration who is very partisan, who is very much in tune to hand over the fate of all of these students who were there to try to make a better life for themselves into back to state control, right? Just like how they want to dismantle the Department of Education and put everything back to the states and let the states control how students are educated. They're doing the same. They're dismantling the Department of Labor by dismantling Job Corps, a program which historically helped students get trade jobs. And just completely throw it out the window so they can carry on this crusade of just making savings out of taking all the lifelines that lower class Americans have rallied on for years. And there was one more thing I wanted to share. One last thing I wanted to share was from the Wikipedia page for Job Corps itself. The page itself is, as you can see, very informative. It tells you that the program was formed over 60 years ago as a vocational education program. Main mission is to help people from 16 to 24 improve the quality of their lives through vocational and academic training aimed towards gainful employment and career pathways. And if you scroll down a little bit, right here, it gives away what's the end goal here. Because in the 20th century, you see, Nixon sought to sink the program, while Reagan sought to eliminate it outright, but the program continued with bipartisan congressional support. This is what the plan is. They want to continue Reaganism. They want to shut down Job Corps because it's what Reagan would have wanted. They want to follow that playbook to a T. It's Project 2025 incarnate. I can't get any more transparent than this. In the 21st century, let's go ahead and knock this out of the way, right? A series of audits, studies, and investigations, public and private, starting in the late 1990s and extending through the early 2020s, cast doubt on the safety and cost effectiveness of the program and have brought calls for the program's end. However, bipartisan congressional support have kept the program alive. With a $1.7 billion annual budget in 2014 and 2018, it is the Department of Labor's largest budget training program, providing about 37,000 training slots for young people annually. And starting in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic triggered the closure of the physical Job Corps sites, and the organization attempted to shift to online education. Enrollment dropped about 75%. A lot less people enrolled in Job Corps because of all the program centers shutting down. Some people never came back. Some people assumed it was the end of the program and they just didn't bother to enroll. And since its inception in 1964 under Economic Opportunity Act, Job Corps has served more than 2 million young people, and as of 2019, Job Corps serves over 60,000 youths annually at Job Corps centers throughout the country. And this is out of nowhere. This isn't out of nowhere. Here, you can see in 2017, POTUS 45, who is the same POTUS 47, by the way, his administration's Labor Department Inspector General concluded that the agency could not show beneficial training outcomes. This was premeditated. This was something that the administration wanted to do during his first term that they're finally trying to carry out now in the second term. And yeah, I'm not dumb. I know about the controversies. I covered a fucking murder that happened at the St. Louis Job Corps Center years ago. And I still fought for the right that Americans should have to try to better their lives through Job Corps. Because even though they list all of these statistics about everything that's wrong with the program, it still provided a net positive good to Americans as a whole. Just like with food stamps, you can list all the examples of people abusing the program to just get free money from the government, right? But it's still a net positive outright because of so many people that relied on food stamps to not only feed themselves but their families. The same with food drives, the same with Medicaid, the same with all of these safety programs that we have for years that this current administration has worked their way to dismantle bit by bit, also they can try to gloat how they saved money by screwing over lower class America. A good fraction of POTUS 47's fan base, mind you, are feeling the wrath of this administration. And right here, it shows all the notable members, all the notable people that went to Job Corps. People like George Foreman, Charles Barkley, Mike Epps, Joseph F. Murphy, and apparently Christina Pike, who was listed as a convicted murderer and the youngest woman to be sentenced to death in the United States post of Foreman versus Georgia period. But that's realistic. That's realistic, though. Not everybody who goes to college is a good person, and it's unrealistic to expect everyone who ever went to Job Corps to be an angel, right? Some people just doesn't escape the mentality of having lower class status and push that mentality onto others and suffering onto others. So by that same mentality, if we're shutting down Job Corps because of all the so-called bad people, right? All the bad people that this administration is claiming was being harbored and positioned into getting free money from the government, right? Then by the same merit, oh, wait. I was going to make an analogy that they should be shutting down colleges, but I forgot. They're dismantling the Department of Education. So that's pretty much up their alley, too. This administration for POTUS 47 is making it super difficult for higher paying jobs to be available to people unless they already have the financial means to go to college, to go to tech school. And if they don't, then that's okay. We'll just have you work at Amazon. They need more drivers. We'll have you work for Elon Musk, and he can get you a job mining Bitcoin for him, or working as a moderator for X. Oh, wait, no, you can't, because he wants educated people for that. You can work at his factory, though. You can work at the Tesla factory if you're dumb enough. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my shit there at the end, but this is bad news. This is automatically a bad news day, bro. And I literally got alerted to this because my mother texted me and told me that the administration was planning on shutting down the program, that they were going to shut down Job Corps. At least that's what the news is saying. Although they're using the word pause here, by the way it's presented and the way that these news media outlets are reporting about this story, it makes it clear that the goal here is to try to make people think the program is shut down. So when they don't unpause the program, people can say, oh, I thought the program was already dead already. I thought Job Corps was shut down. Even more justification for their madness, for their bullshit. If you listen to this radio podcast, like video all the way through, I appreciate you and I thank you. Again, I know this wasn't how I planned to come back to this channel, but I felt like this had to be talked about because this is truly heinous shit. This is truly heinous shit that deserves to be called out for what it is. And if you want to, you can comment below about how do you feel about this story. If you're a former Job Corps alumni like I am, you can comment below your favorite memories and how Job Corps affected you, hell, for better or worse. Because, again, being transparent, this program had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. But in my point of view, overall, it was a general good for America than a net negative. It definitely was worth spending billions of dollars of taxpayers' money on that than building a celebratory bullshit wall across the Texas-Mexican border that's not going to do shit. If you want more rantings like this, I have started production on another channel, Ultra Grump. I'll leave a link to that in the description if you want to see any of those videos. And of course, I also have a link to my personal channel, which I don't really upload to anymore. But I've been on the Reply Girl era, I guess you can call that, by making shorts replying to popular videos and giving my opinion about that 60 seconds at a time. With all that being said, I'm Trey. Nice seeing y'all again. Nice to wish it would have been under better circumstances by far. And hopefully the next time I come back to this channel, it's because the next administration is able to bring back the program. Fucking bullshit, man.